players, they're not going to change. Let's bring what we're tried and true at, and it is the Jet, Raze, the Sky, Astra, and Viper. So I feel like it's a pretty level match as we get into this one. Interesting to see the votes coming in from social media as well, saying Furia is ready to just stomp this game. We start off on split, and it is going to be MiBR on defense with Furia attacking. A few ghosts, a frenzy there for Havoc as they look to enter onto B with just a few lurkers around the map here. Still a lot of decisions Furia could make.
There's that first pressure. Double duelist coming in. First contact for JZZ with the second one onto MW0. Pain Shell to push some players back. A great hold to start things off. And that's the beauty of it, of playing against familiar territory, familiar players. You know where you can pressure, you know who you can focus on. Yet this time they wanted to focus on JZZ, but he was ready for that.
2 down at B. They play out the map once again. With the Viper still up, being able to activate the wall, we see keeping Artsine over towards A just a little bit. So this helps play the numbers for Furia, but they're still going to walk into this solid defense at MiBR. Looking at the utility, not too much left on the side, just the guiding light there with the dash for sight. So MiBR is going to have to hit these shots.
That's exactly it. They used a dog earlier on from Conan to try to drone towards the middle and didn't see anybody. So when you don't have util and you lost your duelist, you're playing the contact. They walk within B, JZZ spots them again. Has support from Azine on the top of the B ropes. As the orbs come through, at least that's going to help for Khalil to move forward. Pressure in towards the orange walls, orange hallway. But MiBR, they're not letting Furia in for a plan.
No, and interesting, we didn't really see the use of the double duelist composition either. A lot of contact play, a lot of walk up, early information grabbing, and then it fizzles out when they actually lose those dives to get into the site. Furia is forced to walk into MiBR. Great hold from Heaven. They didn't really lose too much ground in either site, and they anchored A well, even if Furia did that rotate. So keep an eye on MW0, still going for the Sheriff. We'll see if the utility in this is still kind of to make space for MW0, or if Havoc is getting in on that. If they're going in together as we would expect here, it's going to be a mid-open play. So still not going back to that dive into sight just yet on this save round.
Putting a lot of importance on MW0 this round for Furia. Only a Sheriff in hand. We didn't even buy anything for Conan, so not too much support around that duelist. Artzine trying to push forward, and they actually have a really good angle right now for Liatzi just around the corner. So we'll try to make some noise, bait a shot. There's that push forward. Beautifully done for Furia to start.
Quick movement. What a nice play. Liatzi has been, we saw the Ascent clips from earlier, one of the ones on the front of these pushes when Furia goes in to get an engage. And they're playing very good mind games. Rotation back around. Wow. I gotta say, Furia's patience is very surprising right now. They've almost gone to both sites on every chance they could. Little at B, little at A. Second round, little at B, little at A. Even tempting mid for a minute here to give MiBR so much to think of. But this push on ramp from MiBR allows B to be a little bit more sure that the hit could be coming in. Here's a rotation back, it looks like, coming in from JZZ.
30 seconds left.
Fuzzy's falling back there, thinking it's going to be a very big hit towards this B main, but Furia are playing contact. There you go, FRZ just around the corner, but the guns are too good. Already the flank came from behind from JZZ.
One enemy remaining.
It was an opportunity for a timing there,
yeah.
But that window shut down right away.
A lot of holding shift right now for Furia, seeing if they can fake out MiBR by cutting all noise, not giving any kind of intention to what they're going to do, or indication rather. And this little play, super cheeky, making sure to drop one. And finally, they find MiBR. Because of that push onto ramp, knowing that the rotation had to go to B, MiBR backs up to receive the rest of Furia. But now we're on to the guns round. The gun round here for Furia. Artsine has grabbed the operator.
Recovering it.
Yeah, so you might find that quick as they dismiss a star. And this will be one of the first times we see Furia kind of pressuring with that Viper wall towards A, truly. Dodge out pretty nicely on the guiding, or on the Trailblazer. But from that balcony, JZZ is just ready to rain down with the FAMAS and probably a nade if they do come in. Really good positioning by MiBR. Furia is left to find nothing on these peaks and on the utility.
And that's the thing for MiBR. After using that dog, the one that's trying to find the most information, look at on that radar. Everybody's jiggle peeking, trying to jump spot, trying to find information as Furia, again, The beauty of that double duelist are looking for a perfect timing to explode. Now all grouping up towards this A site, and with the orb coming up, there is that execution, and it's open on the A site. MiBR is ready to play the retake.
They're in. Both duels, 3 in.
Spawn nobody towards the hell, but Mazin does see MW0 towards the back of the site. Gets the first blood, not given a chance for Furia to go for a plant. Couple players
Spike
fall
down
again,
A.
but the advantage is for MiBR. Spikes down out in the open, and the last 2 players of Furia are just stuck at the ramp
30
behind the
seconds
smoke.
left.
MiBR just taking each situation as it comes. Doesn't seem like they're flustered here. They have util every time to push back Furia. And now towards having Liazzi. Havoc will try to do what they can. Havoc's a few away from. A few kills here would be really nice to get the showstopper
10
in and make
seconds
one
left.
of these hits kind of push MiBR back. It does not seem like they're moving. Cemented in place on this defense.
Gotta save.
Oh my gosh. Not even having to play retake on these rounds. They're meeting Furia right on the hits to the site, and MiBR is coming out on top.
It's actually quite nice because that's also something that MiBR has done quite well on Split yesterday against Cloud9, where when we first looked at the game, yes, double duelists very good on the dives and they were getting a couple of openings, but C9 was starting to read that. The strength that they had for MiBR was the actual positioning that they had on the defensive side to prevent C9 from really coming in and getting plants. And I thought MiBR on that last round was going to play that retake, but they flashed out of that smoke and really fought well against Furia to deny that type of position that Furia is trying to get.
Furia's by here. They're pushing themselves through into this round. Right down into the pockets.
There.
Getting a little bit of lint for this purchase as well, I think. Already a rotation. FRZ coming through. Might get caught on vents here. A big push up by Furia. And this time they're going to hold the space and see what information they can gain from behind enemy lines now.
Thought could give a lot, denied right away by Snakebite on the ground, but FRZ decides to push forward. And that classic flash and dash that we had earlier allows MW0 to move forward. Only 8 HP though. The pinch comes in towards the A main. Works out as JCZ falls, and an opportunity for Furia to go for a plant up for A heaven as well.
What a buy! And they're upgrading weapons as they come into MW again!
Looks the wrong corner though. RGL with the backstab on the rotate from the spawn. Player disadvantage for MiBR as 2 players remain. Has a little bit of money to work with. They could do some damage. If they catch Furia off position, this might be an opportunity for a retake. But a nice smoke comes out, a flash to peek out. RGL's clearing the corners. But after seeing nobody, the discipline coming out from Furia at the pulse plant, you can definitely see the Siege coming out for MiBR, and Furia's going to be able to score first with a much lower buy in round number 4.
What a hell of a buy, too. A few Vandals to still come out in the situation. They find the Stinger from MW0 to help pick up another one, and no, MiBR was not expecting that kind of arsenal as they re-cleared corners and they turned. They expected to, again, maybe be finding a slow-moving Furia with a lower buy than what they had. Really cool to buck the trend there. Furia pushes through on the buy, and they get the round of themselves. Can't even hide in the little spot. Yeah, MW0 finally going down here, but it was too little, too late. What a great call to continue taking control of A and really putting this double duelist composition to a variety of ways, because we've really only seen the dive into sight once so far from Furia. All right, still guns around. MiBR has the money they need to buy again, but this is going to give us dueling operators from our jets. One shot from MW0 activates Blade Storm too.
Glass cannon as well for him.
Yeah. Now they know he's got it. That's even worse. So MiBR is going to hold on to those corners without peeking.
Artzine's trying to do the same thing as MW0. Of
course.
That's what Furia likes to do, just have MW0 try to walk out and get a pick. Now he doesn't get one, to rotate perfect, and then there's that nice little bait jump from Khalil. Now as you see Furia, okay, the off is there towards the A site. Showstoppers to come out towards B main, connects onto the Liazzi. That smokes down.
Great call. It's going to make it so much harder to get in. MW0 too, with the operator is shooting from afar, right? To dive in is going to be tough. Maybe switch up the gun. Teamwork here. Freeze the crowd as they start to make their way into sight. MW0, however, stays on ramp. I don't think they know it just yet.
I mean, they're waiting the wall to come out so he can position themselves. The wall comes down but gets hit by a flash, so he can't get the angle. Arzine just saw one crossover for a plant. There's that peek, and he was ready for it. The 6th sense out of Arzine. As MW0 has to try to get something done with this op. The top of the dome of one crossing over, that was the cap of JZZ, and then wins that mirror matchup against Arzine.
Standing.
Also with that, becomes the last player standing as his teammate falls. Looking back up towards the window, misses that shot as well. Senses the push out from main, but it's the wall bang instead from MiBR as they have a clean retake.
Yeah, they do. Nearly a flawless until those last few kills came in. So we see MiBR not being tricked a second time in a row here as Furia comes in towards the A site with a purchase. A few good kills made it very tough for Furia to finalize the strat getting in. Blade Storm's ready. One of the rounds, though, Furia is able to plant. And we do have to have MiBR getting a retake. It wasn't just on the frags. So Furia making a little bit more ground.
So it was the shots that baited out the showstopper too. So that default that they're trying to play here with for Furia was very well read by MiBR.
It's a great call on smokes too, because in the way MiBR is playing, I mean, for the Yahtzee going down, because the way MiBR is playing, they're taking shots, they're not backing off, already getting Furia up the ramp here. Heaven's still held pretty strong. FRZ is slowly rotating across too to get to Vents, and Furia are back to A. So while trying this, they're still setting a precedent.
Trying to double push down at the middle. Havoc does get the contact onto FRZ, an early advantage. That could have been an early 4-on-4 as MWZR almost got picked off there as he got leg shotted by Artzine. Up dropping towards the A-side control. Nice flash, allowing MWZR to get the pick onto Mazine. Adding value to the Blade Storm, the lower buy that you have for the attack inside of Furia. Finally, as they move in, MiBR is actually choosing to save the op for the next round.
And I think it's very interesting the way Furia is starting to flex this. We've obviously only seen a few rounds where the attacks have gone in and worked, but it does look like they've gone back to MW Zera getting a majority of the utility, and Havoc is working mid. It's not the raised jet jumping. They're not supplying both. They're creating the space again for MW Zera, and they're still having Havoc do what Havoc can do and get kills across the map, which he did in mid-round. So a little bit of a different style, but also makes you question as well if you're not going to play the double duelist default comp. Where's the change in the meta, right? Long discussion to go down that, but interesting that Furia is finding a different way to use this to beat MiBR.
And finding a lot of value, or at least attempting to find a lot of results, good results by this early attack towards the A ramp. We've had a lot of classic flash and dash from Conan to support NW0 up towards the ramp.
Right.
While they do that for MiBR, for them to reply, you don't see them trying to peek around the corner early with a knock. They're playing behind towards the back of the spawn, towards screens. So the pressure actually comes in from MiBR in these locations right here. Outside B main, down towards mid, trying to break down that default that Furia is currently implementing. But so far this time around, at least for round number 6, that previous one was won by Furia. It comes down to those duels in the end.
Stack towards A here for MiBR. They feel like it's going to be a hit again from Furia. Looks like a bit of a default though as the spike goes back and forth. And yeah, this push towards A ramp may sort MiBR back to more default defense, but definitely a different look.
I love that call because that's that conditioning. We just talked about those flash and dashes. As that comes through, look at that pressure coming out from MiBR. They're focusing a lot of players now towards this A site and open B. And Furia just changed the pace.
Do they dive in? A retake for double duelist is just like hitting the site, so you gotta expect that MiBR is gonna come flying through. Site is gonna be Furious. They get a good plant and they'll get a good defensive setup. This is now on MiBR to be able to take the round as Seekers go out to give Furia an idea of how much time they have.
So by pulling out a perfect rotation, there you have that classic of the double duelist diving in. Perfect plan for main. Even the Seekers clearing out the space for Furia. But here's an attempt to continue to add to that space. It's Havoc with the showstopper, keeping the defenders behind towards spawn. So the pressure has to come back from MiBR on the top of B Heaven. MW0 gets a nice pick through the smoke, but it's answered back by RGL. He's holding his spot towards the pillar. But slowly but surely, MiBR finally made it towards the floor of that B side. Shot missed. Here comes MiBR pushing forward. JZC on the top of that balcony. It's actually being diffused at halfway. Finally, the suck comes out on the attacker. Khalil holding towards orange. There's only 2 versus 1. A shot comes in, misses again from Artzine. No matter what, though, I'm pretty sure it was almost no more time left. And Furia, they're actually closing the gap in the lead that MiBR has been building on their defense.
Absolutely, and low buys, full buys, Furia had gone A. They finally switch it up to B right away with the numbers of MiBR having to rotate back and get into position. It was enough. Setting up a garrison inside B right after that plant did not allow the retake to happen, and that operator's down. But MiBR should have a good amount of money. Still buys coming through. We'll see if that operator is still on the table here, but that's a lot of momentum that Furia was looking for. All right, a slight deterrent here going up towards mailroom. Not a lot of love towards mid, but now they'll make sure that no rotation can come through here. 2-1-2 on that defense now by MiBR as they spread back out.
Exactly. The 2-1-2 using the Viper's Pit, and on top of that, they've been gracious. The good news about MiBR is that they've had some strong buys throughout these last few rounds, despite the score that we currently see. So you're actually trying to funnel here towards Artzin, who unfortunately has been missing a couple of these shots with the operator. Now could hopefully just post up here as the wall will soon come down on both ends, and there's nobody on the other side. There's a jiggle though to try to find one. Oh. The timing on it. The timing on it. What a tease.
Just take a quick look at his watch. One shot means Blade Storm. Again, they tempt ramp. Seems very comfortable that they'll know you get at least one fight up here. For 3, trade it and keep moving. Furia's okay with that. Here comes a rotation. They're gonna look for FRZ.
They got the dog moving forward from the bottom of middle so they can pace through the vents and go back to try to punish on the top of A Heaven. It's a 1-for-1. But the commitment of Furia is towards the A side where Artzin was ready finally with a shot.
Anchor in sight. RGL Meister still waiting patiently.
They'll never know him. They'll never know he's there. Easy kills for sure. That spike down, 10 seconds left. Liatzi pretty much on an island. He was watching, still lurking all towards the spawn, trying to play RTS style with the stars that he has, and there's no way he could move in. At least we're trying to hunt for some kills at the beginning, but no. Artzin says, let me save my op. Give the round still for MiBR.
And that's a learning situation at the end of the round there for Furia. They're going to double check for the anchor in sight now. For RGL to not have moved an inch is definitely going to educate Furia to be always double checking those corners. You got to do it to him, but still gets back in a position almost to double there. And yeah, calm, cool, collected, and hides quietly behind the screen. Easy 2-clap to pick it up. Operators are back out and ready. Cosmic Divide from RGL Meister and Khalil's Pit. So if they take a site, they may be able to own it. But if Khalil can actually get into an interesting position, he may be able to prevent some rotations with a pit. Back to mid here for Furia. So a slightly different look again. They didn't like going back to A just yet. And bans, I feel like...
You felt that, right? You felt that, Judge.
I was not ready for that. Holy MiBR. Aggression on to Furia's aggro here.
Yeah,
crazy
they're
stuff.
starting to change the pace a bit. They want to dictate this round. But Conan and MWZ are ready. All these rotates to push towards the spawn. Everything that they did towards the extremities left the middle open. And Furia took advantage of that. Advantage through. Oh, the shot couldn't come in for JCZ.
Explosive mid. Just fury straight through, creating space for each other. Now Mazin eyes are easily there. Gets detected and it'll just be a few shots. So Furia is ready to try new things. It looked the first few rounds they were just gonna go A, B, maybe have Havoc lurk, but no, this protocol mid that has not been seen by MiBR did leave the one person in Heaven out to dry, right? FRZ could not get out of the situation, just plowed right through, and Furia waterfall into B for the first time. So really nice for them to break this out at a point where they could easily start to change the game. One of the last rounds of economy too for what we see for MiBR's buy here if they keep all going down like this. So we should get another gun round. Seems like there's been so much money in this game for teams to go back and forth, and Furia is just capitalizing on their post plants now. Every time they get it down, MiBR's had a really tough chance of getting back in. And
you could start seeing it. Artzin, both operas are starting to warm up. So this, as Ades was mentioning before, it could be one of a very clouded match for this Battle of Brazil. For these two teams where, again, the comfort comes in for knowing how to play against each other. And sometimes you'll probably see like maybe the Paper X style of just hold W and fight.
We love it. We'll take that all day.
We'll take a few rounds still to potentially see it, as if RZ does set his sights on Havoc and scores a first blood.
Still trying. It's a few rounds they wait, and then they'll push once again. Showstopper drive down A.
I love it. They're still trying to add that aggression that they have on defense, and it was a fake check. Khalil punishes him, but at least Artzin is still able to hold this middle. Rest of Furia meeting up, and they don't have any smokes to work with, so they have to potentially try to leverage MWZ to once again get an opening with the
Dash is down for MW.
So a double jump out just behind the defensive wall to get Decade running through. FRZ dodging some shots behind the map, trying to bait out the rotation, trying to bait out the peek from screens. Are those players on the attacking side? I mean, there's only 2 left. MW0 and Conan. Oof, that was a haircut. But lands the second one through the smoke, allowing Conan to go for the backstab. Easy kill. Somehow it's a 2v1. Up towards the air, the updraft, it misses! They bump against each other! They swing out! And Conan gets the trade to tie up the game!
They did bump into. Oh my.
That was.
What a round.
That was chaotic.
What a round, but I commend Furia for the patience. FRZ was not moving behind the screen, but Furia didn't try to do anything too crazy. It did not cause them to make an error, and it was to wait for the shots of MW0 to connect. They don't miss that much, and only after one whiff on that smoke, he picked up the rest. Artisan trying to do the same, but it is not enough. Furia it really had no right picking up that round, but MW0 able to make an opening that allowed it possible for Conan to move around and get that backstab, and the rest is history. Tied up now at 5-5. We'll get our first pause of the series for MiBR.
And it makes sense. As we mentioned before, they were really good at dictating the pace against C9 on the defensive side, and it almost felt the same here. As this time, a few small mistakes when they're trying to dictate the pace on the aggression on the defense. That showstopper a couple of rounds ago that gets punished there from JZZ, knowing where the players were at, but just did a fake check. Yep. And on those moments where Furia actually has been trying to play a little bit slower, more default, where there wasn't that aggression from MiBR, Furia is using a lot of that sky utility to find information, and they have slightly less to really enter sites, which gives a chance really for MiBR to surprise them back, and maybe we might want to try to go back for those protocols for MiBR here.
Yeah. Honestly, looking at a strategy that would just shut down the jet op too, I feel like just focusing at that, waiting until you hear it, see it, and then avoid it is what it's coming down to. 10-9 right now. Late storm up for MW0. Operator still in hand, and it seems to be the reason that Furia is able to get so many openings in these rounds. See again towards mid. This was a big push by FRZ a couple rounds ago, so it's being fought for a little bit more. Usually you don't see any mid in a double duelist composition. Maybe a lurker from your smokes, but almost every time now, they're gonna push up, and again, Havoc on the front.
Gamble stack you see from MiBR. 3 players starts jiggling around. See it from the radar. JZZ is the one that's jiggle peeking towards main so that he could be the first contact, and you have a swing out from RGL and Artzine. So leaving really only Mazine trying to potentially flash for info or jiggle for info. He might fall, and then you try to play for some exits and just die to spike. The gamble that they have towards the B side doesn't work out. Well, that flash actually gets that information, and there's that reaction from MiBR. Let's try to move quickly here towards B and try to go for those exits.
Clean into sight. Happy to get some of the ultimates, or at least hear them on Furia's side. Furia's ready to lock this down. MiBR, the low buy. They're gonna have to be behind each other here on these trades.
For shots. So Furia knows that MiBR is trying to close the gap, focusing on pressure at the 8 ramp. But that gets denied by a couple of utility on the attack. The pivot back towards A, having to try to drop down. RGL gets a nice shot onto Havoc. MW0 getting shot through the wall. Forced to reposition, and actually that's quite nice for MiBR. You're forcing out. Nice shot. Seekers, at least from Furia, as you have a lower buy. Wow. That is a great, I take that win actually for MiBR as I have that lower buy, because Seekers on the last round where they don't have it anymore for Furia, but we have money on the defense, and we have a Yop back out. That might be an opportunity to tie it up.
Made Furia work for it, for sure. A lot of those ultimates were coming out. A few frags to go down, but we should have the buys we need for both teams here coming into this. Yeah, that came out so quick. It's just
felt like a chamber.
Yeah, right? The headhunter pop.
Exactly.
Oh my. All right, see where this goes. Looks like, okay, so they were nading up on that balcony. Now we're gonna put a Viper bite up on the balcony when they hit the site so nobody can peek out. A lot of times, even if the smoke goes up there, you can still get retaliation. Here as the Trailblazer goes through. Again, the wall blocks vision.
Double Duelist wants to fight though. Artzine activates the dash, but they both miss. Both Duelists do not get any value on that push. Both denied. Big flash. Mazin just trying to stay alive for a bit. Showstopper misses, but MW0's on the other side. So the double duelist, at least on the attacking side of Furia, opens up the A site. Even a pit, this is going to be good luck, have fun for RGL and FRZ.
I love it. One of the last rounds, we see it, like, ha, we can do it. And they dive right in. MiBR unsuspecting.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. FRZ just got spotted by a flash. So they know he's up towards the A heaven. Even Furia there. Like, hey, let's just flank. Let's just confirm the kill. Who cares? We don't really want to let the time go.
Yeah.
Pat the stats. But definitely you've seen a nice little read and adaptation from Furia by playing a little bit more passively against MiBR's rounds, and they're just punishing MiBR.
Toxins going up.
That's gotta suck. You've waited the whole time towards A heaven, and as you walk down, you get hit by a dog.
That's the way, or you miss the trip and you just walk right into it.
Yep.
It caused so much time. 7-5. Wow. This round summed up for me, this half is the op talks, man. When MW0 had the operator, the team was making openings that Furia wasn't finding otherwise and able to take MiBR apart to get those 7 rounds. MiBR with a fantastic...
Vansili and Rivington.
Thank you, GB, Mimi, and Athena. Yeah, indeed. I mean, that's a terrible stat for MiBR. 1 of 8 out of retakes, and I think they bring up a great point. The Sky. Maybe that's why you see that pressure out for MiBR on the defense. We'll see if Furia is going to try to do the same thing because they know how little utility they would have on these retakes.
Quick peek. Liazzi back with the stars down. The rotations are already coming over.
Different, definitely for MiBR. Death ball out towards the B side, but all the util comes out. I mean, you haven't baited it out at the beginning, and then you're just meeting it all as you try to funnel through. I think one of those satchels missed, and we had a great suck coming out from Liazzi, but everybody just instantly got dropped by MiBR.
FRZ's like, no, I'm coming, guys. Don't worry. I'm almost there. Oh, my. They went down quick. But, yeah, you're right. The instant hit, but prepared. Furia was prepared for the instant hit from MiBR there. Expecting this double duelist to explode immediately, and Furia now take a pistol round of their own. So we've traded 1-to-1 now on those. Furia was able to come up with the rounds last half. So,
I mean, look at this positioning as well, right? Even if MW0 got picked off there by Artzine, the idea was there. We saw those double dive style of MiBR going towards this orange area. You had players being placed behind where that distance would be if you actually double dash through towards the pillar. So they were able to minimize the space here that MiBR could take.
Oh. Quick peeks. Wonder if they got a question mark on the mini map. Stars are heavily going down. There's a good lean towards B here for the side of Furia to defend. Keep the track of what FRZ does on this right side of the map, though.
Yeah.
He starts lurking up.
He's just lurking while we're trying to get some pot shots from MW0, who did get a bit of contact. Havoc, the one trying to find information. Got him. As that single initiators posted at the A site for the defensive side, and does get the contact, as you mentioned, onto FRZ on that lurk.
Giving it up. You see how safely Conan is playing. You say, fine, we'll let him take heaven. We'll play the retake here. Don't want to catch a shorty or something crazy in the face on the low buy of MiBR. Yeah. Oh! There you go. Delivered, crowd.
And now, with 40 seconds left, I mean, the call is, do we want to go through vents or not? But everybody's really focused on taking the A-rank classic kills from FRZ.
That's absurd.
How does this happen?
That's absurd.
30 seconds left.
And now within the ropes, the Marshall drops a right-click classics again. FRZ, 3 in the round, single-handedly opens the A site. And yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of errors here and there throughout this matchup. It gets chaotic.
Well, whether or not stock's going up on the glitch pop pistol.
For sure.
That's crazy.
For sure. Planted now for heaven. Havoc last player standing and realizes that there's nobody trying to get the last pick, understanding that they are on this eco for MiBR. You have to play those protocols that they were good with in that matchup yesterday. That's some damage done, but you definitely hear that clock ticking on that spike. Round definitely is still in favor of MiBR here. Havoc just trying to potentially even build up to a showstopper sooner than later, but gets denied there by RGL. What a classic round for FRZ.
Wild that they're able to take that back. 3 on it, and then a headshot as well to take the armor off of Havoc, and an absurd amount of damage being done with the Classic in 1 round. Yeah. The pistols are on fire today for both sides, it seems. And yeah, that's one of those I wish I didn't situations. As RGL comes up with the last one. Nicely done. They flipped the script on how the economy's working here. A Marshall there still for Liazzi on defense, though, so they may be able to get a little bit of armor chip. Furia feels good about this round. Looks like it might be a B hit on the end with just that lurk from FRZ still. He avoids this one.
You got Marshall for pop shots, 101 damage. You have 3 players with shares, which would then mean 1 shots. But MW0 is trying to play the off angle out inside the garage. It's 9 right away. And sometimes you don't need a Marshall to help. You get a headshot from Havoc on FRZ. Conan running outside the smoke with another one. Marshall trying to do some damage. Liazzi trying to dance around. Support from hell denied both of them by MiBR. Does Havoc upgraded a rifle and has a showstopper? Does he want to do this? They call potentially the HP remaining on the rest. They're definitely on an eco. Try to do some damage, a little bit more damage if you can.
And Havoc definitely seeming more comfortable in his play and his positioning. See if he can get this last one. As he just trolls back and forth to see how many angles he has to check.
The game sense. He knows where all 3 players are at pretty much, but as he goes for the drive-by, there was an opportunity there. If he actually got that pick out to Mazine, he knows that the showstopper is going to get RGL towards that back, and you're left with the 1v1.
The potential of that round was huge. As soon as Havoc got that frag, you wonder, now they know the lurk is gone. The whole team can just focus in onto what's happening at B. However, Furia realized they needed to act fast as well with Havoc coming around. Or, I'm sorry, not Havoc, JZZ coming around, so. Very interesting stuff. Both teams reacting well and adapting to the speed they're putting up for each other. Maybe towards A. Double duelist hit first time for MiBR here. But it's just going to be towards ramp. Gaining control.
Satchels instead of a dash, so the Rays taking control up towards A heaven. Meanwhile, the rest of MiBR dashing in somehow a shot from Havoc outside the window. There wasn't a smoke for the heaven side. MiBR wanted to challenge this. As they do so, 3 players up the top.
Oof.
Plan is forced to be safe. A push towards the spawn decides otherwise. Zardazine is just trying to reposition.
They're waiting. It's like, can MW get one more peek? That might be the activation. Otherwise, it's as soon as they get down ramp.
Just heard a snake bite come out. I'm pretty sure that was one being thrown towards the main, slowing the pace as if they heard a flash. There's that peek towards the spawn, a double peek to see the opper. Mazine getting into 2 shots with the wall bang out towards screens.
Poison's off.
Now they have a perfect position for MiBR on the post plan. MW0 cannot move in with his teammates, forced to fall back, and save is up. MiBR, after winning that thrifty on that eco, ties up the game.
Wow. One of their main goals, I think, of win conditions is to figure out how to shut down MW0, right? You have a guy who's basically glass cannoning whenever they can and is a reason that these rounds get completely shut down. So the faster they get into sight, the faster they set up, the less work MW0 can actually do. Because that's exactly what it wants to be able to hold the forward angles. It shuts down fast pressure play. Somebody comes flying around the corner, 1 shot. That's not what MiBR is allowing on their hits, though. Good smokes, good control, and Furia is going to be calling a timeout here to see how they can right this, get it back in their favor.
Yeah, I mean, they have that showstopper just before we saw this screen here available for Havoc. Do they want to try to do some sort of trap play here? If you could funnel, if you could put MW0 in a good spot, and actually he lands some shots and adds that pressure onto MiBR, there's an opportunity to actually have them funnel within an ultimate that could become a huge swing round here for Furia on a defense. But it could also be just a regular timeout to discuss within the next round what the protocols, what MiBR has been doing here on the attack here with.
And we know these 2 teams are pretty evenly matched. You know, it's a kind of plant the bomb equals win game. Looking at the score, it's even. First kills, first deaths are even. 5v4s or 4v5s and pistols, all even in how they're playing against each other. And like I said, and the scoreline, 8-8. The only thing that's different here basically is the buys. The economy is switching up a little bit. Let's see what they can do as we now get into round 17. This is just the first of this series. Neither team wants to go home on this one.
And look at this. So they have NW0 playing solo with that off, so they do want to try to go for this funnel potential.
Absolutely.
Look at that stack you have. A safe spot from Havoc out towards the elbow where he could be the final call with the showstopper. So this is an important shot to land right here. Gets blinded by a flash. All that plan's gone.
Scrambling just to get some positioning. Look how fast the rotations come over. There's going to be a lurk for FRZ. Could be a nail in the coffin if he can get behind enemy lines.
Dog is going to see one side though, but this off to go from GZZ on the other end. Shot by NW0, an opportunity to come through. There's the showstopper coming out, but it gets denied right away. Oh, flash out huge here from Azine to try to get a spot, but cannot get the shots. Stars coming down, a flank from the back. FRZ does connect onto Liazzi as the players are slowly falling down from Furia. They realize this, potentially just try to save and protect NW0, have the other two do some damage. It works out at least onto FRZ. Hope is back down for Furia to attempt to go for a retake if they want to, and it starts off with a jump spot on the attack, spotting one, the double drop, the wall banger to Mazine, and RGL at least is able to save that. Up versus up, RGL from the pillar. You're gonna take that for Furia on that buy.
That came down to the 1v1 at the end. Honestly, the MW was trying to get out of there, but when I saw 4 players of Furia huddling in towards Sands, ready to pile through there, and they caught Mazine's guiding light in the face, that is one of the oh no moments. They finally spread out, get into a situation, but MiBR acted so incredibly fast on this round. Understanding Furia would try and sprint back into the site. Straight W. 4 rounds in a row now for MiBR as they are going quick. It's a plant the bomb, win the round type of game. Who can get back in and get the retake? It's up to Furia now. Holy moly. One for RGL Meister. Operator was with him last round. Now it's back to Mazine. And no operator now for the side of Furia. It has been such a focal point to get that weapon in the mix.
That's a great call from Azine with the operator because of MiBR's comfort to go for the double dive. And when you have a Sky in the back trying to run all that util first, you get a plant for example, B main where they're inching towards. He could actually play the op on the post plant. So MiBR needs to waste this utility that's being posted up towards his B site. But it's a slow default. They're trying to have Furia make the first mistake.
Get out of my way!
There's the blades. So I think that means they're looking to dive mid here. Ooh, MW0 at least stops JZZ.
It's going to foil the first step of the attempt of map control towards heaven. A dash across the smoke, trying to catch one behind the staircase. Arzine sees nobody there. Now Cloudburst sees 2. Couldn't get the contact onto Liadzi. 8 HP remaining. Snake by now to still cover the staircase. Up towards the B. Have a nice shot to open things up towards B main though. RGL in contact against Liadzi. Still at the 8 HP. Being a pivotal point as an anchor. There's only 12 seconds left. Have to move quickly to pick up the spike. FRZ does so. And he does have a pit. So a plant will potentially bring out a pit, which will give it timing here for Conan to potentially come out, but they have no flashes to work with, so that's going to be difficult to walk through. Trying to pinch towards the back of the spawn. Mazine's moving forward. Conan senses it, but still loses the fight. Out to MW0. Blade Storm still available, not popped yet. Has a Vandal in hand. Both the players of FRZ and Mazine holding together, trying to keep this pit up, keep the pit alive. There's that tap. Trying to find a timing to walk forward. And it's Mazine to try to bait it out first, just to keep the pit up. There's that first kill, but the push comes out from FRZ in the end.
Wow. MiBR able to still get through on that round. It almost looked like it got way too chaotic and overcooked. We had JZZ go down, and then Artazine was just, I'm in. I'm going, oh, I'm by B by myself. Let me try to fight everybody. And you were just like, wait, team's still in mid. But no. They recoup, they understand what needs to be done mid-round and are able to find those frags. Bringing it down to 1 again, MW0 trying to clutch it. FRZ gets that frag. And FRZ, to point out, we had the lurk last round, helped put the nail in the coffin on the retake coming in from Furia, and a lot of other rounds that he's doing great lurking, being able to get the audio comms in the transition of when Furia is moving, and it is helping MiBR stay on top of these plays.
Is that Psycho? But a timeout, the last one being called out by Furia. And again, I mean, it's an important one here. They don't have too much money to work with coming out of this timeout. But everything that they were trying to do on that previous round, they actually had the perfect numbers to hold that B site. And they were able to separate that attempt of a push that you had from MiBR on that split towards that B main.
Okay.
But it's denied right away. I mean, they're doing a great job for MiBR to do heroic plays.
Yes, it is crazy heroic. Last 5 post plans have been successful retakes for them. Like, that's kind of crazy with how fast Furia is getting in the site. We still have a few members lurking about that would make some good plays to stop MiBR from getting back in. But man, MiBR is almost happy to let Furia plant right now. They're not worried about the extra money because it just seems like they have such a read on how to retake right now. Mid gets taken over. See if they can force the hand of MiBR to head just to one of the side sites and deploy that double duelist comp.
What a gamble. Right now, they have a lower buy. They went for a pit towards middle for Furia and a 4-player stack on the A site. They have Bladestorm available for MW0, but they just want to leave that B site open, somehow trusting that the retake will work. But they've already used a bit of that Sky utility that would be so useful for the retake. They only have a flash left, and then potentially the next thing on the board would be Havoc with his nades. And look, I bet MiBR.
Yeah, they're cruising.
Everybody's just gambling on movements, and it's working out.
Looking to follow up on each other's damage here. Whether it's a 2-person death ball or 3 or 4 of them running around, they are keeping a little buddy system. Trying to predict a B hit. They float back towards A, and it looks like they are going to read this slightly correct. Whether or not they can stop MiBR on the way in, they'll be there for a few trades.
Opponent is trying to get lucky before the Cosmic Divide goes up on the attack. MW0 push again, but gets denied right away by JZZ. With that, though, they didn't try to go for any type of floods.
Yeah.
They just tried to go for those heroic plays. Unfortunately, got denied. I mean, that's the best you could do here with the buy that you have. Round should be coming in here for MiBR unless a miracle happens on the side of Furia. Both players split off here. One towards screens, the other one towards the ramp. Liazzi was able to get one. But FRZ has been so good on this Viper.
FRZ is disgusting. He's just kind of understanding what the flow is of each round and putting himself in the middle of the site there, able to hit each angle as it comes through. Another 3K for FRZ and another successful post plant for MiBR. 6 in a row now. Incredible consistency coming in from this team. And it doesn't even look like Furia has a read on how this is happening. Furia, it looks like they're playing to the retakes MiBR wants, and I'm not actually sure how MiBR keeps getting that in their favor. They are holding the angles and just taking Furia down. All right, 11-8.
Oh, might get punished here. Liazzi's walking away. Showstopper to clear out the space. That's going to land. No more stars to deny the push forward from this double duelist dive. Change the pace for MiBR. A little bit of a gap on a smoke that was red in the first place, but an assist from GZZ just to bait out the op. Spike is down, it doesn't matter. Player advantage to backstab. Havoc just got caught. I don't want to fall. I mean, this is too good here for MiBR. 1 versus 3. Backs against the wall. Conan, the IGL having to decide at this point. Do I want to use my Seekers or not on this 3v1? Sees one, here's the plan, spots the third and loses the fight. Map point for MiBR.
Absolutely clinical for 7 rounds in a row. This is wild from MiBR, and it is worth going back and really watching this attack side from them and just how they are dismantling Furia on these attacks. Jeez. Predicting the rotations, predicting the positionings, and it's really not second-guessing each other. They know what they need, they have the utility for these retakes, and we are definitely seeing a bit of a change in effectiveness for MiBR's solo initiator retake than what Furia was putting on the board. Here towards mid, MiBR, gotta go fast.
But slowed by a flash, and that was a teammate's flash. Azine trying to do that to create that space, allowing them both duelists once again to work together, this time towards vents, and you kind of like it. Sometimes it's slow, this time it's quick for the past 2 rounds. Havoc close range with the judge, but both duelists are there. Do they know the crossfire? They do now as they spotted Conan to push forward for MW0. The off shot missed. Furia has a breathing chance.
A little light here will they be able to connect with another? Still sticking together. Utility there. Guiding light can come in for Artisan. It actually looks like they're just trying to play anchor on the sites, and Furia is ready to re-rotate off of where Liazzi and MW0 are.
There.
Now, they pretty much know where the hit's going to be coming from.
Yep.
Or towards B Heaven or towards Spawn. And they're okay to play this passively for Furia and let MiBR make
30
the first
seconds
step.
left.
So the 2 players on air watching towards the defensive Spawn. The 2 players B that pushed all the way out are just waiting for the walkout. It's easy. 3 falling, 4 in the round for NW0. As Furia, they finally get a round in this half. It took a while.
A 3K, in a 3K, just kind of sneakily waiting for MiBR to waltz on in. That was one of the slower rounds, and it gave a chance for Furia to kind of just, like you said, take a bit of a breath and understand what may be happening in it. Too little, too late. Still the question we have to ask. 12-9 here within reach, though. 3 rounds, still a bit of money to work with. Only a low armor buy here from MW0 and that Bulldog. So still very much around that Furia can defend on. Ramp control. Looks again just to pressure Heaven here. So nothing on the left side of the map. MiBR goes straight back to the A hit.
Once again, name of the game is being aggressive. 3rd round in a row, this time towards the A side. They did a B to mid to A. 1 round after the next. Plant attempted for Heaven. It will be successful, but Furia is all over the A Heaven. A dog to clear down the ramp. A crossfire set up from GZZ and FRZ. Snakebite does not connect. So they can stay deep now until these smokes come out. Recalls, the peek out. Conan gets the pick onto GZZ. A battle on the other side of the map towards screens. A 3v3 as a heal comes up from Conan. Still no utility left now for the retake of Furia. And the crossfire is there for MiBR towards the back of the site. Clock is still ticking down. Pressure is coming through for Furia as this, once again, is still map point for MiBR. Artisan staying within all these smokes. A tap on the first spike, and that's pretty much it. Conan was trying to watch the top for his teammates. Now the clock is down. The spike goes out, and MiBR take the first map.
Who else but FRZ? As that'll definitely weigh on him. Probably not worrying about it too much. The team's behind him, and he knows what he can do. But MiBR may look for that focus if they can find again that they do see a weak point for the match. Furia versus MiBR, with Furia starting on defense now. We're on to Breeze. MiBR goes for the attack, fully spread out, but Furia is pushing up to get to that line of scrimmage and push it forward even more.
Classic MW to walk down in the middle. No util to help him out, only his own dash. And as it dissipates, at least he creates that space and holds it. Look at the number of defenders of Furia up towards middle.
And they just heard that run, for sure. Not knowing RGL would have the spike, but MW0 definitely heard footsteps. Artisan, Liazzi waiting on the other side of this wall. So they hear Liazzi's first movement.
This is an interesting call right now, though, because FRZ heard Khalil jumping back and forth on that shoulder, yet still wants all the players to rotate inside the A side for a hit. Where Furia, we just mentioned, they have a full stack on middle. And when you're jump spotting in that angle, you got to know they have a pressure on middle. Yet you still want to go for a split on the A side.
Both initiators here for MiBR. The rest of the team follow through.
Opening the door, Artsine with the first contact, but it's JZZ scoring the first kill. That's Havoc once again. Who better on that right side, picked off at the Shrimp Pyramid. And now a wall bang from FRZ, that lurk play coming out, allowing MiBR to even make it a 5 versus 1. So yeah, my bad for questioning MiBR.
They're just creeping around, figuring out what's going to work best. The patience there, once they did get up really far,
10 seconds
helped
left.
them suss out that Furia was also taking a few steps out of bounds. And now it is up to Liazzi to come back and get in spike range, at least get a bit of chip damage down possibly. I mean, there's no armor even to take off, so they'll end this one out. Nice round by MiBR to read and not have a full committal right off the bat. Feels like they had their homework done on the fact that, yeah, MW0 would be pushing down mid, looking for an instant fight, because we had that position covered by MiBR and they split right off from it. So pistol round going over. 2 on the series for MiBR. So Furia's 1. Nice little spam.
Feels like MiBR is really carrying the heat from the first map to the second map.
Absolutely. And with that, I mean, it's pistol round. You can't take too much from it based on the strategy used, but knowing Furia is that comfortable to push, MiBR will remember how deep they were even on that pistol. Cautiously pushing up here. Even for this second round, they do wait a bit to get hit by the 0 point. Throw their own.
Yeah, that's the thing for MiBR. You just wanted to make sure there was no pressure coming out in the defensive half or track play into a main. Easy for them to pick up an orb. They want to bring it up to Mazin, so they could potentially have a KO ult on the hit. Well, for Furia, you could see the gamble for a stack on B.
They're setting up shop over here. Super patient from MiBR again. I think MiBR also has to realize Furia went ahead and bought like Vandals and whatnot into a low buy round on split. Won't be the case here. But they are going to be able to upgrade to that Sheriff.
Will that Sheriff do a lot? It's in the hands of Khalil. MiBR, I mean, they have so much space taken. Easy plant, even set up for a pulse plant. A quad flank coming up from Furia. As at least for the attack, they push towards the spawn. And that's Artzine holding towards bridge. Big knife on that flank. It's only going to hit one player. That's Mazin, who now is watching it. Has cover from his teammates, and smart for MiBR to wait within the site. Looks like they understood that the stack was there towards B when FRZ was pushing in. Oh, but Havoc still gets an opener, a backstab instantly. So little communication I thought was there, but it wasn't, but at least for the rest it is. Reassessing, repositioning. MW0 gets the shot onto Artzine. Numbers are dwindling down on the attack finally as RGL is stopping the bleeding with the Guardian. And now the spike will go off. The round will still finish up in favor of MiBR, but
I call that a W.
100%.
I mean, obviously a W for MiBR, but that much damage from Furia with a slew of classics to take down 3 members of MiBR in the second round. That works out. Still, the extra money from Plant goes to MiBR. They should be able to fold into a few weapons, but we'll see this again.
How did Havoc make it through that? There was somebody watching. RGL was right here at this pyramid watching the fight. Oh, that wall came out. There was potential there. That was probably the reason how we're able to squeeze through for that kill and really topple down the positioning we had for MiBR in the post plan.
So that buy does hurt a little bit. JZZ is going to be able to focus on the initiator utility, though. Both initiators you see focusing on the utility for MiBR as the team purchases guns around that. So you'll see the initiator utility creating space here for all those weapons. But Furia is happy to set up D. 2-3 split. Now you have a push for MW0 and Halls to kind of get some audio cues. It's being the mirror match it is. They're just waiting for this utility to go off, play within that window. Again, wait for 30 seconds or 40 seconds and then try to hit. Here we go, chaos caused. Artzine in.
MW has a great timing on the flank. So as we're planning for the pulse plant once again on default, FRZ is pushing forward towards the staircase. A scan, spotting the second one, the flash too late. There's MW0 on that flank, updraft. Mazin falls, advantage for Furia. Spike planted as FRZ and JZZ are trying to play the lurks, the flanks, denied by Khalil. JZZ alone wins the duel against the duelist. But then Khalil on that rotate, trades it right back, and Furia gets the defuse.
The damage Furia did definitely helps count into this from last round, helps into this round. Definitely having the upper hand in weaponry, able to pull up this bonus and get their first round win in. A lot of hits towards A so far for MiBR. I wonder if we see the switch from Khalil actually change sights onto the other side. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we check out the replay, pop out of it back into game. It does look like they will start to switch up how they're playing with Khalil a little bit.
This is a nice one.
The trips you can set up, the longer ones now, both at B and A, can get pretty disgusting.
This goes here.
If you start setting up little things, it'll catch the feet right here in front. Almost can see one of them. All right, towards A again. MiBR very much starting together and relying on the utility from FRZ to keep their backs something they don't have to worry about. Gonna go fast.
Fast for MiBR, denied right away as Khalil was ADSing down between the pillars. Knife comes out, he's suppressed, but MW0 is on and rotate from tunnel all the way within the A site. Support from Havoc on the top of the staircase. This is gonna slow down and make things very difficult for MiBR to move through. RGL waiting for that wall to come up. Finally it does so, but Havoc does get the pick off the JZZ before the wall came up. What a hold in the end here. A flawless coming out of Furia in round number 4.
As soon as that wall went up, I love that we had the back shot from observers of Conan just throwing up the drone, and it didn't even matter that the wall was there. You just saw all the shots coming through from Furia to clean up. Very nicely done. MiBR getting red on that site take. A few quick shots. Nice over-unders. The team really coming together on that. I feel like Furia have been allowing too much of the site to MiBR in those first few rounds, so it was nice to see them step up and meet MiBR as they entered A. 2-2 now. Looks like that low sheriff buy here from MiBR will split them up into a bit of a default strategy. See if they can't upgrade a weapon here to start off the round. Cypher back to B. Khalil's gonna go ahead and set back up there with MW0.
Conan droning all the way far back. So you know Ardzine was waiting for that drone to disappear, starts jiggling to play the long range with the sheriff. And a headshot there, I think it's still a 145, so trying to find the right timing to push down in the holes while the rest of MiBR scaling up middle. Camera should be able to spot FRZ soon if it continues to push towards the nest. There you go. Spot it, cage comes up, camera gets broken, and that pivots MiBR towards B. Double swing out from Furia. That's not going to allow any split to happen, and already in an instant rotate from Furia. Inside B to support Khalil. Execution out from MiBR. Control towards the ladder. Ardzine with that push, that timing, that was perfect to get the kill. As unfortunately, though, his teammates are still dying within the B site. That's all a ruse here. There's a rotate coming out from Azine. At a great position from Liadzi. Might just stop everything. Not even need it. MW0 rotate all the way back. And on this ego, the Shiko that you had for MiBR, they couldn't find true value out of it.
A good job by Furia to not overreact on that. Still leaving anchors across the map. A big frag there towards double doors to end up the round. For one of the first B hits we've seen coming in, however, from MiBR. So Furia adapting really well to seeing something different. And again, that rotation of Khalil actually came into play really big, that they switched it back over to the site. Maybe MiBR thought they were getting a free site with no traps there as they would enter. So a bit more of a default setup. We move Cypher back to A. MiBR. The spike drop has been happening a little bit more here at the beginning of the rounds. I feel like they think MW0 is going to be in their face, or they're at least look for one of those beginning round aggressions that Furia loves to do.
And exactly, they like to do that. And always putting this wall down towards middle and putting MW0 at this spot. When he has an op, he tries to push down even more, but this is just to watch the angle and allow a quick trade. This is why you have a passive play from Liadzi towards the tunnel. Yep. They're okay with the instant MiBR or any type of attacker utility dump from B main. As long as they secure middle, this might help them even better for the retake.
Havoc's freedom here at Arcades has really allowed Furia to know, play back in B, look for the retake. This could get quick coming from MiBR. Havoc was actually pushed up all the way to Sands just a second ago, where we saw JZZ rechecking. So knowing that push not coming from A, Furia still should have a pretty good read on this, as MiBR are going to crash into the site.
The late lurk's going to be important from FRZ right now in the holes. Meanwhile, on B side, there is that hit out from MiBR. Stopped by a Molly. A KO ult comes out on the attack as they pick up the orb. And Ardzine somehow scores 3. Instantly, all those players are trying to hold back at least one anchor. The others playing the retake. Got denied right away by the aggressive push out of Ardzine. Still looks like we're trying to go for it. And that timing that you have, the more you're winning here, that backstab's about to happen. MW0 gets the pick from the window as he pushed all the way down. And FRZ finally meets up his teammates, but you definitely know that MiBR has the plant, and they're in a great position to tie up the game. Trying to hunt him down. FRZ's already back towards the spawn. This guy's been running marathons around the map of Breeze so far. We would get the fight at least. Let's put MW0 down to 40.
Ardzine, what an addition to the squad of MiBR here. Oh, a few final shots as they will keep their Vandals here. I don't think they go back for another one, do they? Tempting fate. But yeah, look at his previous match. He comes out +6 on first kills, first deaths. Ardzine does not fear being in the front. Will use that utility to great effect, and here starts off the round with a triple kill for MiBR to open the site. What more would you... Okay. That one we didn't necessarily see right away, but he does get one through the golden arches there. and it just makes it look too easy. Yeah, another day at the office. So great kills coming in. A quick round for MiBR to explode onto that B site. Now we go back again, that spike drop. This time it'll be a double push coming in from Havoc, but MW0 is now at that long A position, or that A cave position.
Right now you can see FRZ's got a camera posted up to watch the push from the shop. So if he sees this double push out on A main, this might change the pace for MiBR to move a little bit more quickly. Oh, he got behind it. He got behind it.
Great knowledge as well by Havoc.
There's a trip there. At least for Havoc, you can sit it out ADS. Yeah, that's a mistake right there for MiBR.
Wow. If FRZ, that's their Havoc rather, that's the second time he's been pushing into that.
So it's a contact play, a backstab kill that forces the hand of MiBR to add more pressure in the B site. Havoc continuing to lurk, the push forward, gets the backstab on the backstabber as FRZ falls.
Wondered what that KO play would be like, Van Silly. Seems a lot more clean coming into today for Havoc. And this is going to be more contact for MiBR as they're forced to walk in now with hardly any util.
Made it through. Artzine's low on HP, but one slipped across. Unfortunately, RGL wasn't looking the right angle.
Spike down.
Spike is down. Mazine gets a pick, but to what use? It's out towards the A site, and all the players are split off, already positioned to just wait the clock out. Mazine and Artzine will save their weapons, and Furia will retake the lead.
10 seconds left.
I cannot believe this series continues to be this close. Well, I can, between these two squads. They know each other so well, but just the way it's going down. Another quick trade from MW0 to look and get that Blade Storm online for an upcoming round.
This place is nice, but not
Could
nice
have
enough to
dueling
die
Blade
in.
Storms as we
Let's
come
move
into
it
this,
out.
depending on what the purchases are. 4 ultimates ready, 7 altogether across the board. This could be a very explosive round to help swing the game back to even. You're right, a mistake there. Havoc pushing up, like we said, he gained that space quite freely in A cave before, and it's allowing Furia to recognize where they need to be on the map to really stop MiBR. It's pretty telling when Furia can get that much space.
Yeah. FRZ was so focused with the camera to look down towards the other side of walls that never thought that somebody was going to push the A main.
But he'll never do it again.
Definitely.
Now he knows. He'll swing that camera a bit more.
See, that's going to be the important round that decides the fate here of MiBR for the second map, to see if Furia can push this to a third. And Havoc was continuing to find that confidence. You say he's not going to do it again? Well, FRC's not going to do it again to watch the camera, but Havoc thought that he could do it again for the backstabbing gets denied.
Exactly. Good read, though. Furia finally picking up on that and able to get a free kill right off the bat. Pushing back. Artzine already had the Blade Storm up, but they're able to get the uplink onto this. Double ping going out onto the side of Furia. It's going to be a nice hit here coming in from MiBR to set up the defense.
With that hat that spots the Cypher in the back of the spawn, that's a beautiful knife being thrown with Mazine. Continuing to deny that utility that was set behind by Khalil in the back of the site. It allows here for MiBR to be positioned. No trigger discipline, and because of that gets punished right away. Artzine falls, there's only one player in the pit. The hat comes back out, and RGL has to stay alive now behind the walls. Second ping's gonna come out, but he's not sprayed. Stays alive for a bit, tapped down to 51. FRZ supporting him on the lurk to get Khalil down. Advantage for MiBR. Hunter's Fury out on the attack, all the way back towards cannons. They'll get some pings, some information. NW0 is down to 30, RGL in the pit. Holds it down, there's no time for the defuse. Last few players of Furia already running back towards the archers, but MiBR are hunting him down. Conan trying to stay alive, but here's FRZ to cut the rotate. Let's look at the kill feed.
Oh, he ran back.
Stays alive.
Wow, I actually thought that was gonna get really hairy for the side of MiBR. Once they put the Viper ultimate down, I almost thought Furia was just going to encompass the ultimate and come in from every side, but somehow RGL finds a spot to hide. Nobody can ever find him. It leaves Furia wanting the whole time and not being able to find a single frag, and they come up only losing RGL for having a great hold on the site. Really cool play coming from MiBR there with the Viper's Pit. And we are now 4-4. A lot of those ultimates were used for the side of MiBR to secure that round. Now a slew of them for Furia to fight back with. Spike's going to go towards A. Havoc no longer pushing this position as Furia kind of bring that defense with Cypher back to A and play more for the retake.
Did a lot to start for Furia. A knife towards the elbow, a late owl drone, just to make sure that there's nobody towards the elbow. So they're guessing this push is coming in the A side. A wall bang to get the kill. Battle inside. Balls was one for the defensive side. Havoc anchoring the A side, now alone. Two players pinching on the left side at Crab. The wall comes down, the timing on that one still wins that fight. 3 in the round, only 1 left alive for MiBR. That is RGL in a clutch attempt against 3. Snake bite towards the back of the orange. Havoc low on HP, trying to go for some pre-shots, underhand flash. And now all they could do here is wait the time, move together, and wait for RGL to peek out. There's the high-low waiting for him. RGL's counting the bullets down the chamber, peeks out, and both of them run away. At this point, though, it's going to get very difficult here.
30 seconds left.
RGL, can he pull it off as a heroic play for MiBR? There's only 24 seconds left. There's that first shot. The high-low continues, but it's good for Furia. 5 on the round.
And Furia don't even play the retake. The quick shots from Havoc, the traps, or the trips coming up from Khalil allow them to stand their ground. And MiBR shut down on the take. Only a few more members required even after that to close out the round. Really strong stuff coming in from Havoc right now. Just immovable in these situations, even with utility flying over his head left and right. Crazy stuff. Good cleanup by Liazzi and the rest of the team there as RGL Meister did his damnedest to keep that situation in their favor. Operator for MWZera now. They've been looking to get alone for that one throughout the game, and he finally has one in his hands. It's going to be a B hit with a Viper's Pit up.
Good call on the pit, trying to read that early. Not allowing the Outlaw to get anything done for MiBR on the attack lure buy that they have. We dashed over it. Liazzi keeps the pit up, gets a snake bite kill into RGL. There's the backstab. Pushing towards the spawn. Wow. MiBR only gets 1 out of that half buy that they've gotten. Doesn't really matter on the armor that they've damaged because Furia is looking pretty good on the money.
They are. And that momentum MiBR had coming in here has not affected Furia that much. Still able to find a way into these sites, not even being deterred here by the Viper's Pit. As they rush back through, figure out a way to get this, or not being deterred to go back through, rather, knowing MiBR was going to rush it. 11. Round 11 now is Furia finally broken away and giving themselves some padding. We were going almost tied game starting this first half off. And now what 2 rounds can MiBR, what can they do with that? Knowing there's an operator now for MWZera, a key win condition for the side of Furia, and Breeze being such a long range map, MiBR is going to have their utility to push MWZera off when they hit the site.
And this timeout, I want to take the opportunity to give a shout out to how good Havoc's been looking anchoring this A site. We mentioned it before we started off this game. He went, I think at 11 pretty much on the attack side and only 2 kills on defense. And this time around for MiBR to still want to choose Breeze as their map pick, the conversation probably overnight was like, hey, we have what it takes. You're comfortable with it now. You understand the protocols on the big stage here at the VCT Americas. Now you can play your game. And now he's currently on the top of the board, 10 kills and 7.
Yeah.
Doing his job and allowing here enough delay for Furia to go for these retakes, and even his utility from the back of those staircases to really deny the pushes out from MiBR. His game's on point right now.
And it's exactly the kind of recovery you want to see from a player, right? And as a Furia player, as a Furia fan. And I'm sure Havoc is very happy with himself, too, to be able to come out here and play this way the second time around. See if they can keep it up. Pressure's only going to grow here. Furia tries to push us to a 3rd map in the series.
How passive they are for Furia and B, just because they have the op posted up on a tight angle in the shop. Middle's all the way open because of that, and if any type of contact, the wall will come up. MWZera got that pick from that tight angle, as we mentioned before. Like how deep that was. That's wall down. It's gonna be so hard for MiBR to hit a site, so they have to focus now on the pushing in halls.
Different look, too, here after MiBR's timeout. Like you were saying with the Cypher traps, the more passive play. Havoc, though, to start us off. Once more, another headshot.
And they're clean.
Oh, yeah.
Last 2 guys, I mean, there's 44 seconds left. Everybody died from whatever play, and losing that Viper so early for MiBR. This has to be a call to save for last.
Wild. You know, he is wearing his spectacles today. I don't believe Havoc was wearing
30
those
seconds.
this time around. He was just able to see through the game, figure out what they want to do. MiBR slowly getting hunted down here.
Shut down.
Mazine
My ult's ready.
showing, and MW0 is just going to hold this with the op now. A lot of ults yet to come up. I'll have to see what happens for MiBR.
10 seconds
This is
left.
important pushes. You have so much good money
GZZ?
for Furia as JZZ finally gets stopped by who other than Havoc. At this point, I mean, look at that economy you have on that right side of your
Exactly.
screen. There's nothing
Last
left for
round before the
MiBR.
switch.
Well, for Furia, you have a full gun round here.
People are trying to say, hey, I'm going over. 6,600 for Havoc right now. Forced to buy. They may even start dropping themselves Odin upon other guns. And yeah, like you said, clean with these shots. And you mentioned earlier, too, how far back Furia is playing sometimes to receive these plays. Know that there's going to be a few lurks from MiBR. After MiBR does their rush rounds, you may see a round where we get Artscene or FRZ lurking around. So Furia's been adapting so well to which style MiBR brings to the round. Final one here for the first half. In and chaos as Artscene tries to break the crosshairs.
That's an ult out from Azine. Trying to push in for a plant. Gonna use the one with the ult in case he gets spammed
Spike
through walls.
planted.
Potentially get res, you're wasting bullets. For Furia, they have their own null command and a Hunter's Fury. Starts off already activated by Havoc. A super late lurk by FRZ. Beautiful shock dart rather with a snake bite combo, allowing Furia to push in. There's that Hunter's Fury to clear out even more space. It gets the ping on the first. The kill up to JZZ. Where's his backstab finally comes in with a Spectre long range, a lineup, but we're sticking that defuse. It's going to hit onto the fuse. Wow. Round one for Furia as they end the half 8-4.
A strong half as well. Havoc on top, and a big reason at that. What a showing here coming in on the KO this time around to really solidify multiple multi-kill rounds and keep MiBR at bay.
Yeah, definitely a night and day performance out of Havoc so far. If you could continue this right now in the second half, this could potentially be the swing map for Furia, where it looked very one-sided for MiBR to start. But then if Furia is able to close this, Furia, as we're about to start the second half, it's simply MiBR. Just peek FRZ. He's currently set up right now in the A site as MiBR is holding the defensive side.
FRZ is definitely one to peek. You look for the lurk, he might be there. I like it. It's a win condition we'll keep track of for Furia here. And yep, definitely forward for MW0.
Well, looks like they're listening to Otsuka so far. A dash forward, but
Oops.
maybe it's not just MiBR. They score first, a 5-on-3. Liatzi, Conan, and Khalil trying to work together. Camera is up there for FRZ. Smile as you take the dart away. The plant down, at least for Furia.
His lurk.
It's heard, it's spotted, and it's a bait the whole time. Turns around to get the kill. Another player falls down. There's only light damage being done against MiBR so far. And Conan's now last player standing within the pillars. Gets dropped.
It's FRZ.
They got it.
The defuse here. So a focus to RGL. I think due to frags, already had 2. They give a 3rd point to the Viper just in terms of gaining ultimate and those orbs. So good focus. I see MiBR control around with the Viper's pick coming up soon here. So defuse post-plant success. 1-1 MiBR second half. Keep track. What's next? You're going to have Havoc with the Sheriff. MW0 with the Ghost. Just a little more utility and safety there. And we are going to get the Outlaw. Outlaw Bulldogs, okay. Still pretty decent buy from MiBR to keep some firepower in their hands, but not be too afraid if they lose any of that arsenal. Little lurk here from Khalil as a hit comes in from Furia.
The timing. I think all he did was wait for the audio cue of the flash to get that shot out and land it onto MW0. Jump spot from Azine, forced to reload. That's going to take a long time, but GCC does get the pick onto Khalil, who's trying to lurk up towards middle. Artscene continue to push forward, easy one onto Havoc, and that really is going to foil the plans of a attempt to surprise the defensive side of MiBR in the A site.
Enemy remaining.
Artscene actually banking up to that operator if you really want to think about it right now. Good economy for him. Also the Blade Storm to come out as Liaozi Saw him kind of just hanging out in mid last time where RGL found him. And RGL, considering that again, I saw him in mid last time. Be ready for the lurk. Looks like JZZ will catch him off guard here if they
Let himself getting pinged, and there you go. Easy tap. Converting the piss around. MiBR already has an answer back. As they're moving in their bonus round and only losing one player in the process. That. I thought it was off the sound of the flash. He actually saw the player. That's reaction time. I'm old like GV at this point.
Oh man. Bonus. Now Outlaw stays. So this is, honestly, you would keep it because Artsine loves to just snipe things, but really saving that economy for the operator, you can see now as they keep with these weapons for the bonus round. No real upgrades necessary anyways. Looks like it's going to be a 3-2 split if they can make it to tunnel here as well as hit the site. MWZera has a pretty big job if he branches off here.
Look at that pivot from MiBR. They throw a recon dart and they didn't see anybody and they decide to push all 3 forward just to try to prevent
Here.
or maybe trying to go for a flank, but maybe they saw the camera. Instead, Furia just focusing on hitting towards this B site. Back at the site this time, the outlaw shots do not hit. FRZ in the back at Berlin. Recon dart does get a ping into some opponents on the other side for Furia. There's a camera actually, not a recon. Beautiful shock dart lands on to FRZ. As really for Furia, the protocol is to clear out the site before going for a plant. You know this is a bonus round for MiBR, but those that do have a better weaponry with the Bulldogs, ADSing for the shots, finally connects, but not before RGL also fell. Couldn't save his teammates. Recon in this site, MWZera pushing down.
Player standing.
JZZ felt it, but lost that fight.
Watching how Furia went about this round, the side entry coming in from tunnels.
30 seconds
looks
left.
like they really took into consideration that MiBR lost FRZ last round, has been switching but playing B with the Cypher, and that Artsine still had the Outlaw. So if you actually start halfway through B and towards the back, what's Artsine gonna do? What's FRZ gonna do? MWZera and the team explode in with the automatics and just completely take down that lower buy. I think identifying that they would be covering B alone, or together, I should say. Just Mazine gets the over under here. Havoc gets another one for himself. And 9-6 now for Furia as we move through our second half. That's going to be their bonus round, and there it is, the operator for Artsine after saving that outlaw, or keeping that outlaw for so long.
And for an IGL like Conan over here at Furia, you definitely probably know that the op is coming if you're going to pull out an outlaw that early. So what's the protocol coming back in this round? Round number 16 underway, trying to flush out where the op could be. And you see they're grouped up, trying to potentially get a knife out towards main, get an Allen drone, trying to see if the op's going to be somewhere close. Recon on the defense at least, and look at how pushed up. Artsine's playing just like MWZera here, but as the knife doesn't see the op, they're pushing in for an A plant.
Yeah, straight forward. How much cover can they get though? The great 0 point back.
It was actually decayed there. Vulnerable by a snake bite, easy kill for RGL. So we have a 4-on-4 flank attempt. It's being watched by everybody. I mean, he almost missed a couple of shots there, but still manages to get that pick. So he's set up for a pulse plant, easy. They should confirm it here for MiBR because they have good position. Gonna be halfway. Shock dart misses.
Revealing area.
So there's that second one. So you know at least there was no support coming out from Artsine. He's really trying to save his op. Second shock dart. Oh wait, he's sticking it. He's got it.
No.
The shock dart put him down to 6 HP.
The assumption is that the Viper's bites are going to vulnerable. The shock dart's always going to clear. It doesn't happen though. Slightly disjointed on those shock darts on that. And Furia had played it well. They have to keep 2 alive. You can't really have the Aussie stand in the open and do that. So both were back there at a fire. And we'll see this one. Let's just watch this again.
That is insane by JZZ. That is insane by JZZ. But, and then you look at the protocol. How come after the shock darts that came out here from the attack side of Conan, why don't we just push just to make sure towards A main? And that is definitely another mistake in this game on Breeze that will potentially not happen again. Now for Furia, we're using that momentum for MiBR. Artzine's already pushing down with the operator and drops the first. Khalil the fall, MW0 out the window to answer right back. They do not want to give that momentum to MiBR.
No, they don't. Backing up all the way. Other side of the site, no rotation in just yet from Conan.
Here.
Still calling the shots that they have positioning, and Havoc able to hear the movements just towards the back of the site. Luckily, RGL on that hold shift right now, so has not really made a noise. They do hear the camera, though, activating at the back of the hallway. Here we go.
Underhand flash.
Yeah, we'll drop flash.
It really is just to keep the players at bay. There was nobody really dashing out from that moment. Usually where you see a KO in that holes, there's a jet that comes out towards orange. Instead, MW0 is pushing with the rest of his team towards the A main so they can play that pulse plant. And they learned their lesson. They're just staying towards A main this time and keeping Liazi in the sight.
Still have some shock darts. Hunter's Fury as well. They're going to use it right now for the retake. Oh,
yeah, that was a lineup.
Okay.
They threw a knife and then the Hunter's Fury in that spot doesn't get the ping, so that's wasted. An opportunity for Fury to play the pulse plan. Havoc gets the pick up to Mazine. Everybody's dropping so far for MiBR. Advantage for Furia still as JZZ's trying to move in. His teammates right next to him. A tap on the spike. There's the attacker's Hunter's Fury. This time, again, they do not want to make the same mistake twice. We're just using everything we can to confirm the round as Furia will score 10.
Collecting that one, like you said, not making a mistake again. Able to come up. They don't go and grab the up. They don't have to venture for that. It seems like they just want to keep playing this aggressive style. You put an op in the hands of MW0 and he's less likely to want to dive in here. So they just keep going with this flow behind each other, and now securing the post plants is really what they needed to shore up. Switching right back over. Resets that economy again. It's going to hurt for MiBR now. We see FRZ with the Phantom. Just a few sheriffs across on the rest. RGL Meister is kind of on deck. 2 points away from the ultimate. They have to start grabbing some rounds now. 3 more, and Furia is going to bring us to a 3rd map.
Your rifle for FRZ here with the Phantom, the rest with Sheriffs, and you see the trap plays being set up. Chip's already getting broken. Tag on the first. Aljo moves out on the attack. That's spiked down. FRZ with that hero rifle back in the camp. Sees a couple of players. Throws the hat out. Big information on all 4 players out towards A main. Liazi, though, gets to respray through the cage. FRZ falls, and that's a big rifle down. An opportunity to pull it back for Furia, but Artzine still has knives.
All right, I was wondering if they were going to use the ultimate. Doesn't give them much room, though. They had to use it far back without being able to get into the site. So what does this really do for them? This is precarious. This is really weird right now. And I think MiBR is like, okay, let it hang out.
And somehow spraying through all of this, they drop that pit. A classic long range on the MW0. Only 2 players left. Spike down out in the open. How are you still alive for so long? But JZZ's there to pick up the last few. And MiBR, they scored the thrifty.
Just throw my arms up on that round. Very interesting style there from Furia. They couldn't get in just close enough. Liazi was hoping that it gave him a little bit of a touch onto the pillar so they couldn't get a plant. Oh man, and then being able to fire in there without having any ground, it's like MiBR knew Furia would just kind of be milling about right at the entrance of the cave. Shots connected.
Into the unknown.
It's going to be a very missorted buy here for Furia. Guardians, Marshall, Classic, and their Bladestorm is up after the orb grab. Also, that was a thrifty, by the way, our last round.
Yeah.
So,
and that breaks the economy currently of Furia. They have to try to play a little bit of contact havoc. Unfortunately, we couldn't really set up MW0 with the Bladestorm out. Artzine still finding great positions with this glass cannon. JZZ, Sussy vents away, turns around the corner at the double doors, and Khalil was greeting him. And now it's the turn for Furia to throw out the hat. To get information with the 4 players are at, but they lost Khalil in the process. And Conan's trying to win a 1v1. A walk forward, a run forward, a jump spot. Smart play by FRZ as MW0 falls. 1v1 at this point, nice. Spots FRZ before the cage came up. This will allow for the economy to get built up. Conan still has a Guardian though. Cannot use a recon dart as he just got nullified by a knife. Suppressed, looking forward towards the spawn. You see the flank coming out from Artzine with this operator, and it's only a matter of seconds. Jumping up, out into safety. It was close. His demise is still there. Players will soon start closing in. Wall out on the defense, separating that spot. Ahead. Recon on the top. There's the op shot. 4 in the round for Artzine. Now MiBR only need one more to tie up the game in the second match.
So many 4Ks today. The players are being gentle to iBuyPower. But man, the multi-kills are definitely coming in. Not even that they're required on the round. The teams are just behind each other, supporting, hoping to get these frags locked in. Artzine there. Big frags over at A, and they clean up over at B. So that money does go to the hands of Furia, just a little extra cash. They're gonna go full buy this round. And Artzine just has to go low armor. That's really the only thing we're looking at. RGL Meister with an ult, as we were focused here on A.
Gonna try to go for a pop flash peak potential here. Instead, trying to counter the flash out from the attack, bait out the knife too.
Both teams kind of same idea there. Be like, you're gonna flash us, we'll get back, so you cannot push.
There's some sort of contact. Conan's down to 5 HP.
They back. Back. Calls here coming in from Khalil. Probably hasn't heard anything yet, but has had control of this elbow area to make sure no one's pushing. It's the question of how have they learned how to deal with Furia's utility here, is the question with Conan so low. And get the rest of those shock darts onto something so they can get to site safely.
And you see they're trying to try to keep the spike so they can build the ult orbs for Conan, but they give it to Havoc instead. Now trap set up. Just peek FRZ, not gonna happen. Havoc drops, that's a spike down. Now another camera to spot. The Jet MW0 is forced to fall back in the back of the sights. Finally to break the camera. Trip on the flank.
Spike planted.
Furia's gonna be aware of that one. Shot dart coming through. Double swing out from the pillar. Furia takes the advantage. Double swing again at the pillar, but this time FRZ still ready with Mazines on the support. MW0 looking for a play, but can't find anybody yet. Finally, here comes the late flank. The shots are missing. It's saved for a bit of trade-off as MW0 is now the last player standing. Vandal picked up on the other end by Artzine. It's a 1v1. There's that big one, a flick by Artzine. MW0 falls as MiBR tie up the game.
How did he hit that shot? He was looking in a different zip code. Holy crap! Artzine coming up with an amazing shot. Also a swap of the op to a Vandal mid-run into the site so he could get a close fight with the automatic weapon. Instant processing of the situation to be able to come out on top. Wow. Yeah, I thought that flank was going to be just a little too late. The fight in the site here, everybody was giving it their most and not even feeling pressure, it looks like, in these situations. Artzine just comfortable. The explosion from Bazooka, of course. 10-10 now. 3 there, and the retake again, as you see it on your scoreboard, 2 defuses the past 2 rounds for MiBR to bring it back to even.
We definitely needed some heroic plays for that to happen, though. And yes, as much as you saw how we were happy on the camp of MiBR and how Bazooka was, this definitely was not a happy look for Furia. Calling this timeout super important here, as you mentioned those 2 defuses coming out for MiBR. It breaks the economy right now for Furia. An opportunity for the defensive side to take the lead, continue to build the economy, and potentially even close this out. It looked like it was really Furia that had that control from the defensive half to start, but MiBR, they're doing whatever they can. It gets brawly, but that's the beauty of the battle for Brazil, right? At some point, you just know when to swing and know how to fight, and you get this type of scoreline.
Furia, again, sorting out another buy where they have a bit, but also can buy next round. They're just trying to get as much damage as they can, along with securing some kills if possible. MiBR, these last few rounds, just fierce play. Seems like they are unafraid of what is happening.
Artzine, they talked about it on the desk. Give him time to warm up, and then now you could see him pop off, and this is what, a clutch situation you saw in that previous round. A couple of multi-kills that he's gone, this time a collapse. And on Furia's camp, you don't definitely do not want to see this happen this late in the game.
And this is a mid-round pressure call for them, right? What do we do now? We actually lost our entry and a bit of our initiation. Still have Sova, so how do they roll out of this? Looks like they are still comfortable to go towards mid, but they have to work together. Spotting Mazin.
Trying to delay a bit now. Molly being thrown on the ground. Snakebite trying to push him out. Mazin gets picked. But RGL still towards A main to support. Backstab. Execution onto the Yahtzee. Now Hat being thrown towards B main. That gives the information of where the last two players are at. So you can't really stick the plant yet. They were afraid of that spray through the smoke.
30 seconds left.
At least to get the economy out for Furia. Oh, nice shot by Khalil. Right off the wrist, right off the plant. Important battle here towards the back of the spawn. But JZC wins that 1v1. Mirror matchup won by MiBR. Khalil trying to trade it back. There's that run up on the ramp. Guardian left, tap on the spike. It's not planted for him, even though he planted it himself. Has to go for the wide swing. FRZ is there. And just like the story is supposed to happen, just like the script was supposed to happen on the lower buy that you have for Furia, MiBR take the lead.
MiBR take the lead. 3 quick defuses there, especially even round 18. Getting through that defensive site to get back into the plant. Oh my gosh.
Wait, how does a pointing elbow turn into a collateral?
That's the thing, is that the millisecond that passed was the final step that required both of them to line up. So he's firing that fast, almost pre-firing, honestly, but still finding them both in a situation where they were trying to double peek short and wide swing. Operator still for MW0, now operator for Artsine. One of the times we're going to see these guys duel it out with this has been Vandal versus Op usually on these rounds. So expect MiBR to stay in their positions until Artsine hits a shot. Same with MW0 in the squad. They're waiting for the pick.
Yeah, it seems that's what the timeout was called there for Furia. It's like, okay, you're also hitting your shots, MW0. We have to stop Artsine somehow. Let's go for that Op duel. And Artsine always likes to be aggressive, but this time only. It's a slight misread as the push is out from Artsine at middle. Still staying posted up despite the dash disappearing. Ready here for a shot. As for Furia, they have to gamble something right now. And because they don't have the Sova with them, it's a walk contact. Spike down, advantage, MiBR.
Great. Does he get out?
Hunter's Fury out on the attack. MW0 gets an entry shot onto Mazin. Finally answered back with the Hunter's Fury, but he's going to be under heavy attack. It doesn't matter. One headshot traded out by Khalil. And now being thrown on the attack. A 2 versus 2 door opens up. FRZ turns around. Khalil wins that fight. RGL Meister's now alone. And the second pick of the hat, the second ping of the hat, sees him still towards middle, so he's repositioning now back towards the spawn.
Explosive action on this round. Seeing how Furia acted as soon as MiBR actually got their first kill. It was Furia, I think, playing towards contact, but also playing, if anything happens, we go. Just kind of using that as a trigger to make the round execute. It has taken MiBR off guard, plants down, operator watching and locked onto the spike with close play by Khalil here.
Because his wall was used towards me. Oh, what a shot! There's that 1v1. He does see his last opponent, Khalil, repositioned now between the pillars. Snakebite all around. He lands the shot! The Red Bull clutch! The defuse! And MiBR are at series point.
RGL Meister's job is to rotate over as safely as possible, be the last alive, be the one to clutch a round. We saw it on the previous map, and we're seeing it again here as he pulls out one of the biggest rounds of Breeze right now to put MiBR on game point and keep these consistent rounds. 5 in a row of being able to slap down the post plants on Furia. Incredible. And a Phantom at that distance as well, being able to double tap.
And the snake bites all around. We talked about the lack of utility he had to cross over. An important win. They had to win against an operator of all things when MW0 is landing all those shots. And then gets the snake bite for the last kill, pushing his opponents away.
You got to think of it. Artsine pulling out rounds like that. RGL Meister pulling out rounds like that. How does MiBR lose? It's up to Furia, though, on the attacks to make sure they bring it to the third here, and they're going to be right into sight off of this drone.
But the money is terrible. RGL continues to reign. The first pick onto MW0. It's dwindling down even. The null command denied. Lianzi answering to 2. Trying to keep it alive for Furia. Door now being open, important kills. FRZ never heard it. An opportunity now to stay alive. He left Havoc to die. The flank from Artson to Conan. Now Liazi hides within the pit. The retake is going to be very difficult with the operator. JZZ has a recon dart. Khalil's watching across. Dream still alive for Furia. JZZ in a clutch attempt. They're going to let the pit down here for Furia. Holding back towards the outside, wasting that clock down. Decay, the peak, snake bite. Trying to get it halfway once again. Up and down we go on the HP. Forcing out the players out. But that clock is ticking down. Beautiful positioning. Khalil with a crucial kill onto what? How did he get the kill with FRZ? How come we never heard that door? And that, unfortunately, is another mistake in this game.
I think that paints the picture of just how chaotic things are right now. How easy it is to tunnel on a situation just to get that last kill of the round, to make sure it's a 13, to make sure you run away with this elimination match in 2. And it's just overwhelming the players right now, and we're seeing the errors. Khalil, however, able to pick it up, keep Furia alive. And Havoc feeling good about that one as well. 2016 on top, we just saw him on your screen. We're gonna get a pause here. Coming in is MiBR on game point, but Furia is right there to bring us into overtime for Breeze.
This is insane. That was such a broken buy that you had for Furia, and Guardians crossing over, a pit was up. Somehow they were able to get that plant down. Everything was good for MiBR to start off the round. They got first blood with a great positioning from Arzine. Now at this point, the script's been flipped on the other end, where MiBR is the one with a much lower bind. Just before we went into the timeout, you saw that econ was pretty low. We'll have to see if on the defensive side, MiBR could still bring an operator no matter what. But this skill right here, pivotal moment right now in this series that could potentially keep Furia alive.
Dueling operators once again. MW, Zera, and Artisan there. Look at this. The Ops 2 buying down to almost 0 on the accounts. The economy, it's the last round. Unless we can get to OT here. Both buys from teams. It's just Furia not looking to pressure right away. Seeing if they can get any tells from Util, from MiBR. See where they might be positioned.
And it's the mind games we talked about for Furia's side. Will an operator come out from Arzine? Will they try to go for an op towards middle? Look at that instant util that came out towards the middle to start things off on the attack, to see if MiBR is going to try to push for that control. Instead, we're playing extremities for the defensive side. Furia, they still have to try to create something, some sort of opportunity here to get a sight. But for both of these teams, I think you're starting to see a little bit of fear, a little bit of hesitation. There's not too much of that pressure and that confidence in round number 24.
Both playing to win, but also playing to not lose. It slows down things.
Sometimes that makes you lose the game, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. You cannot hesitate. You have to be very sure about everything. This
right
positioning.
Playing with no information, rotating across, and a smart play there by Conan to jump spot and bait out the off shot. Yet, Furia still wants to fight this.
30 seconds left.
Hey, off shot's been heard around.
Not this time. Shot dart to stop him. The lineup though from RGL, that's true to fall. I have not seen with the support all the way from the bridge. Up to NW0 and Conan. The push forward. NW0 left. Against the world. Trying to keep it alive, but it won't happen. JZZ with the pick. The Battle of Brazil belongs to MiBR.